Hey guys, so I know that it has been absolutely too long since the last time that we talked, but it's okay. We're here, we're conversing. I haven't forgot your number. Welcome to video newsletter number 2. Welcome back. It has been a while. I had no intention at all when we started this journey together that it would be 3 whole months since I dropped my next video for you guys. And when we began our journey together, I promised you guys that I was only going to put out content that I felt was the best quality, as well as things that are well thought out and things that I've prayed about. With that being said, I don't know if you guys have seen You on Netflix. Season 3 is out and I finished it in a day. But Sherry on there is a blogger, and I mean, her character is absolutely obnoxious, although I totally love Shalita Grant's work in that. She deserves like an award for her performance. But that is what I don't want to be, for your sake and mine. As we are working on creating an atmosphere where we are trying to seek an abundant life through a relationship with God, I am praying that you all are taking care of yourself, and I promise that I'm going to do the same. So one task that I gave myself while I was creating content for the release of What Is Written and working with the Abundant Life series was really trying to find a way within myself, within my own solitude with God, for creating affirmations for my own life that reaffirmed what it is that His word said about me. I'll be open and transparent. I'm not always the most positive person. I think we all have our own struggles in areas that we can work on and use God's assistance. But that was one area that I actually that was highlighted while I've been like writing all of these blogs and things and content around affirming God's relationship with us and having an abundant life. Therefore, I realized, I'm like, I don't think every area is abundant. And I mean, you have to be realistic with that. We're people, but there were definitely some spaces where I needed some assistance. And I'm talking about real assistance, not like, it'll go away, I'll just by the end of the week. Like, no, I need to change my whole way of thinking, like renewing my mind. And the best way to do that, even psychology tells us, is that you have to repeat some things to yourself. There is a science behind affirmations. And while we're not going to get into that, I just wanted to kind of introduce the idea of creating affirmations for an abundant life. With that being said, before I stepped away, I finished a version of an ebook that walks us through making affirmations and declarations for our life called the Abundant Life series. And so, yeah, this is kind of my new baby. It's really short, but I just felt like with all of the things that we had done through the first part, the first series of What Is Written, I was like, we need something to kind of culminate all of that. We need something to take away our experiences with this. So what this simple ebook, even though this is a printed version, what this simple book does is that it follows some of the steps that I collated from other Christian writers and people for kind of capturing your negative thought and seeing exactly where it's at, what it's kind of professing to you, and then finding a scripture that speaks against that. And then after that, you make an affirmation or a declaration that you repeat to yourself. So on the first page, I write a little letter to you guys. It's not long, I promise you. And so this is my list of 12 affirmations that I created. They're very personal, but I felt like, it was okay to share with you guys because we are a community here. I'm just gonna read, I guess, maybe 3 of my favorite ones. My first one that I have is, Christ came so I could live to the fullest. I will live abundantly. And those are for the days where I feel like I'm just kind of like lacking, like when I feel like I I guess, experiencing everything to the fullest capacity that I could. And this is based off of scripture also, but that's not what the word says. Although my feelings, may indicate that I don't feel my best, that doesn't mean that Christ didn't come to give me an abundant life. For some of us that get stuck in the past, I have one that says, what I've seen is not all there is to my life. I will not be discouraged. And so sometimes the past can be just so honestly terrifying, and we're still haunted by some of the aspects of things that have occurred. But just because they occurred doesn't mean that that's all that your life has to be marked by. And so I've created an affirmation for that, just to remind myself where I've been is not where I'm going, and that's not all that I'm gonna see. And for us realists out there that look at things in black and white terms, it doesn't mean that that feels good all the time. I will intentionally declare the goodness of God over my life, even when things don't look that way to me. So even when it doesn't look good or it doesn't feel good, you can still declare God's goodness over your life and watch it come to pass. And so on the next page are 4 reasons why scripture-based affirmations are important. I think we can agree that they are, but I just gave you some information on why I felt like they were. And then this step-by-step guide, it's only 3 steps for creating an affirmation that stems from a negative thought, and then you look up scripture to combat that thought, and then you write an affirmation. And so I just give you an example for how I came about writing some of the ones that were featured on the page before. So here I give you some space to write your own. On the online version that you can get from the website, this is actually a fillable PDF. So you can print it out if you want to, but you can type everything in on your computer first and then print it out if that's what you feel like doing. And then by the end, you will have 5 new affirmations that you can, repeat to yourself at all times. And so I just hope that this helps somebody that needs to kind of figure out a way to repeat scripture, but in a way that it's personal to you. I feel like scripture is just so expansive, and sometimes we have issues with making it apply to ourselves. But you know what? It's okay. That's why you sit there with the word and you make it personable to you. And this is one way that I'm hopeful will assist others, as it has assisted me to do that for ourselves. So this actually concludes video newsletter number 2. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet where I can. But I am so looking forward to this next series that's about to come out. I'm not going to say exactly what it is. You'll see that in the blog post as well as on the social media. But just know that I know that God is working in me. He's working in you. And He is affirming us so that we can have an abundant life with Him every single day, as long as we allow it to happen. So thank you guys for being here, and I will see you next time.